email address, click on it, and, send us an email and tell us about it. You could be a guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio. Anyway, donations are very, very important to keep our show going. If you don't want advertising all over our show, donate $1 or $2. Go onto the website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. There's a couple of different places on there. It says donate now. It's secure through PayPal. Donate $1 or $2. That helps, pay our server bills, our power bills, and, all the stuff to bring the show on to you. And what do you get in return? You get hours and hours of free listening. Over 230 plus hours of previous shows you can just go click on and listen to free. It won't cost you anything. You don't have to buy a membership. That really upsets me. Some shows, they make you buy a membership if you want to hear. Even last night's show. Oh, gee, $2.99 a month. It's $2.99. That's no biggie. But you multiply that times 12, and now you're looking at, hey, that's dinner for 2 nights. I really feel, because I'm an old-time broadcaster, I really think and feel that it should be free. Radio should be free. So why should you have to pay to listen to previous shows? So you can go onto our website. There's 2 different pages of it. The main page, you just scroll down past the gallery, and then you'll see a player. You can choose all the shows right there. Or when you go on to, I think, one of the other pages, I think if you go on to Gary's page or whatever and scroll down, you can then also go on to iHeart Radio and listen to all our shows. I had a cough there. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm waiting for a phone call from my friend James. He's going to be our new host on Saturdays. Excuse me. Yeah, still getting over a cold. Funny, I had a flu shot done last week along with a pneumonia shot. And they said, very, very rare you'll get any recourse from the shot. Well, you know what? I got the flu shot. The next day, I felt like I had the flu. Now, it only lasted like 1 day, thank God. But, well, what can I say? Hi, James.
How you doing?
I all of a sudden started coughing, so I need a swig of beer. No, it's not beer. It's orange soda. I don't drink alcohol, so.
Okay.
I maybe have 1 beer a year in a social gathering. I don't drink.
Yeah, between me and you, we might drink a 6-pack a year.
Well, in that case, you're going to be drinking 5 bottles, and I drink 1.
I thought it was the other way around.
No. So anyway, you're going to be on our show starting December 8th. You're going to be talking about what type of stuff on your show? Paranormal what?
Paranormal anything. Mostly spirits or investigations or mediums and psychics. Anything associated with that kind of stuff. And we're going to get some people with great information, great stories.
Okay, and you're going to be on this, an hour or 2 before Michael's show. So
December 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. Pacific Time.
Yeah, so you come on, and, like an hour or 2 hours before Michael's show, so there'll be like an hour, pause between the two, but then you're on, and then like an hour later after you're off, then Michael's on with his show, talking about the strange things.
I'm excited, looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, so am I. And I'm sure a lot of people out there are just waiting, too.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit.
Oh, yeah. Since we're still talking UFOs, have you ever seen a UFO?
It's weird. Of all the stuff in all my travels, I'll tell you, I've been some places that I should have never been. Well, you know that. But there was one, I seen one when I was about 5 or 6 years old. And it was flying real low. It was your classic round. It was, or circular disc, whatever you want to call it. It went real slow over me and just kept going. And the thing was, it was going so slow that it should have fell out of the sky. And there was no noise, absolutely no noise at all. And I remember I went in the house, told my mom, she was like, oh, quit with the imagination. Oh, she didn't believe me, but yeah. That's my only experience of seeing one.
Oh, wow. You're lucky you weren't abducted there, too, just like in the woods that time. But
I am telling you, yeah, I know.
Well,
I look back at that. I don't think I was abducted because, I mean, but how would you know? Like the one guy said, you have continuous memory thought, but I don't remember being knocked out or lost. There was no lost time or anything, so I don't think I did.
Well, look at what's happened with Michael W. Hall back in August. I
know. I couldn't believe that. After that show, I was amazed. He was telling a story. Hell, they're calling it the event now. It was an event. Whatever happened there. My goodness.
Well, can you imagine to go out and pee and it's right, a porta potty right next to the camper trailer, right next to it outside. It doesn't take an hour and a half to pee. I don't care how much you drank that night. It doesn't take an hour and a half. And the funny thing is, when he went back, in the morning, they realized, his friend goes, well, you were gone for an hour and a half. And they look at the CPath machine, which has a computer in it too, because, all of a sudden that quit working, but his friend hooked up a battery. But it showed a loss of time not being used for an hour and a half. Is this hour and a half? He was gone. That's
crazy, and it was so cold. And you know what? That really got me thinking because your guest and you kind of touched on something about the lady who got locked out of her car. Now, what if the aliens abduct you and they couldn't get you back in the car? I know that sounds bizarre. They should be able to or whatever, but I wonder how many times that has happened and somebody's froze to death out on the road or out somewhere or whatever.
Well, yeah, or got abducted by not aliens, but by some car driving by. Here's some girl trying to get back in her car, and her car says, "Oh, I'll help you." Yeah, and kidnap her and throw her in the back, and then she's gone that way. So she got double whammed.
Right, and nobody's the wiser of any of it.
Yeah. Could you imagine, though, he was saying it was near zero that time of year where it was at.
Right.
Could you imagine even sleeping in the car, that type of... I tell you, I really feel sad for whatever she was going through at the time because, I mean, it's no way, you could freeze to death in a car just as much as being outside.
Yeah, it's no joke. And here's another thing people don't realize: if your car has a leaky exhaust and you got it, even if you got it running, you could die of carbon dioxide poisoning. And you wouldn't even know it. You fall asleep and you never wake up.
Yeah, that'll actually make you fall asleep, and that's the end of it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And with that cold weather, that really got me thinking. I wonder how many through the years something's bad happened to them and nobody's the wiser what even happened.
Well, what really is upsetting, since Dr. Roger Leir, and I never got to meet the guy or ever talk to him. I've talked to, off the air with, Art Bell about Roger Leir in the past. The thing is that you think about it, since he passed on, which was kind of strange, too, because he was on my friend's show about 2 weeks before he passed on. He said his health was doing better. He had a little bit of gout and a few other, problems he had. But he was doing much better, medically. And then all of a sudden he passed on. But, he was talking right on the show that, he was planning to start doing more implant removals and trying to get that out, to the public more. And then 2 weeks later, he passes away.
Yeah, it's too bad he didn't have a contingency plan to have somebody pick up the ball if something like that happened. Or maybe he does and we just don't know it yet.
Well, that, or maybe people are scared to do it because, from the standpoint, let's say you're a physician. Now, he was a foot physician, but he still had to go to medical school. He had to have some medical training. You just don't, operate on people. The whole point is that I think a lot of people are scared to even think about picking up where he left off because, let's face it, I mean, if you get known as removing implants from people, right, your normal patients coming to you for whatever problems are going to stop coming to you because they're going to think you're a wacko. And
well, not only that, now you just put a big target on your back from probably many different government people that don't want that out there to begin with. So, and then they don't have to necessarily make you come up disappear. They can ruin you financially in many different ways. So, yeah, it's a two-edged sword, no doubt.
Oh yeah, and that's so I think a lot of people wouldn't want to get involved in doing implant removals, but the point is, like Timothy Leir, Timothy Cullen here we just had on, again the material that was used in it could not have been formulated on this planet. I
know,
that's
crazy.
What's scary, and what's
right.
If it was me, Timothy, if you're listening, I would have went back, because if you saw a UFO at the same place, I was almost going to say the same place, same channel, same time, but you saw, a UFO in the same place that after you had your implant, that you saw that before you had your implant, makes me wonder if they they signaled you to be implanted again. And you probably were implanted. You had your implant removed. They know that your implant was removed because you're not sending any information. So they looked you up and beamed you up and maybe implanted you again. And you've been walking around all these years, and you're giving all this information out.
Well, how about this food for thought, too? How about the aliens that are doing this? What would their view be on the guy who is removing them?
I don't know.
What would, you know what I mean? Maybe they're responsible for Mr. Leir falling ill real fast and dying. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody's ever thought about that either.
Well, I always thought it could have been two things, okay? One, the shadow government, or two, that maybe it was our brothers out there in space that decided, hey, look, you're damaging our experiment, so you got health problems, so they're not going to know if he could have been implanted himself and never realized it.
It's some scary stuff. Even though, like you used to touch on a little bit, people say, oh, they're here to help us. Well, listen, I'm here to tell you, I did see a document about 28 years ago, and it listed that that was 20 years ago, that our government knew of 168 different species of aliens. Now, look, just do the odds. The odds are 168 of them. Even if there was 10 of them, one of them's going to be a little bit nefarious. It's just nature.
Oh, come on. I say this again all the time, okay? You know what?
Yeah.
They weren't brought up like how we were brought up. They weren't brought up in our atmosphere. We're brought up with our how our generations and generations, how we evolved to what we are. If they're so far advanced from us, okay, they might not have the emotions that me and you have. Those emotions might be totally gone. They
might not even know what empathy is. They probably have no clue what that is.
Yeah,
because if you think about, look at any animal in nature, like a praying mantis, I bet the praying mantis probably doesn't have any empathy when it goes to eat a grasshopper at all.
Well, how about the cow or the lion or any crocodile? You go in the wrong place at the wrong time. The whole point is they don't probably feel love, and they probably don't even feel hate. So to us, we're nothing more than whatever. I hate to say it. I don't know. I can't think and rationalize. Right. That's like somebody saying, well, tell me about God. Well, I can't tell you about God. Well, I can't tell you about the aliens. But I just look at how we are evolving, our human species, how we evolved to what we are now. And that scares me. So somebody it's so far advanced, they're not going to have the feelings we have. So, if they abduct people and experiment with them or eat them or whatever they do, I can't believe they're here giving off orbs. I'm sorry for those orbs of believers out there, okay?
Yeah.
I just don't think they're bubbly and thinking they're here to serve man. I think we are there to, serve them. And it might not be what you even think about. You have to look at, the people say, oh, the Greys are nice. How do you know? They've been abducted, right? They've been put in some type of room and conditioned their mind, probably had something stuck up their butthole and down their throat, right? Examining them, or what they, or implanted or impregnated or what have you, right? Now, are they here to serve man after doing that to you? Oh, come on.
Yeah.
They don't
And,
care about you.
The ones that, and the people out there